Just drop me off here.
Whatever, you okay here?
Yeah. Just drop me off anywhere. Thank you.
Everything is okay?
Everything is fine. However, just in future, what you said to me was quite offensive.
Welcome back to the channel. This is GB Speaks Facts, and today I'm here to speak some real facts today, guys. And the fact of today is we are going to be doing a different type of video. I want to create a new series, and we're going to call it Are They the Karen? We will watch a clip of a moment that may or may not be a Karen situation. Maybe the person genuinely felt offended. Maybe the opposing person was being rude, racist, etc. Now, I will give my opinions during the video, and at the end, we're going to go over my conclusion. And you guys are going to leave your comments below, so make sure to watch to the end. I want to get your feedback from this, guys. This is a very big one. Maybe I'm missing something here, but this one got my blood boiling, so I had to make this video. Subscribe to the channel for more Karen action, and like the video if you like this type of post, so I could essentially make more for you guys. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so for some context, this Uber driver was speaking with his customer. As you should, you want to make sure the drive is as not awkward as possible. And this driver, like many others, are from a different country and do not speak perfect English. They have a broken English, right? And some words they use may be out of context because they're ultimately just trying to convey their message to you. And this lady gets offended by this dude's comments, and you'll see how genuine this guy sounds. And she basically has a fit and then ends up doing this.
About how you were trying to guess where I'm from because you think we all look the same, and then you said, oh, I couldn't tell like where you were from, because you look a little bit different. That's very racist.
But I didn't guess the way you could be. I said maybe you look a little bit different to them. Sorry, please don't get me wrong. My English is not as a perfect.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is Chinese. And then I love the Asian people because they're so polite, so kind.
Right.
We do as a she like we do as a like like a joke. See, I said this. My Buddha is her name, and then this is my girlfriend. Please don't get me wrong. I love the Asian people. They're so polite. They're so kind.
So there's
Please
a difference.
Don't get me wrong.
No. There's a difference between you loving Asian people, and there's a difference between you saying that we all look the same, and that you were trying to guess where I'm from because I look different to them. To them, that's the key word.
So sorry, madam. Is it exactly because of I don't have a perfect English?
No, it's fine. And like I
really
understand
sorry.
where you're coming from, but
yeah.
At this moment I don't feel comfortable in this car. I'm gonna get another one.
I'm really, madam, please forgive me. I really don't mean it about that, madam.
Okay.
If something be wrong, this company will fire me. And I have a daughter. I swear to God, I don't mean this.
Yeah.
Please forgive me. I swear to God, I don't mean of this.
Yeah, I know.
Really
like
sorry.
I appreciate that you don't mean it from a bad place, and I'm not gonna say anything to the company.
Yeah,
I just want
I
you.
I do wrong now.
No.
I don't know what to do, madam.
I'm telling you, I'm not gonna say anything to the company because I understand that you're saying it's a barrier of language. I get that, but I'm just saying to you, in future, just don't say things like that because it's very offensive to us.
I swear to God, there's no meaning of this.
It's fine.
Madam,
I've got a meeting to go to.
You get out because of me?
Yes, because I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable to be here.
Please forgive
You have to respect my wishes. I don't feel
respect it.
comfortable. I'm gonna book an Uber, and
Please forgive me, madam.
it's alright. Don't worry.
Really sorry.
Thank you. I'm actually fucking raging.
All right. There is a lot to unpack in this video. Good gosh. Let's just start off by saying, yes, some people can be racist. A lot of the times Asians get bottled up together as being Chinese. That's usually the default, just to name an Asian person. I've lived around Asians my whole entire life. I've spoken with more Asians than Asian people I've spoken with, and that is the case. And just to label every Asian this is racist, or at least prejudice at the very least. But this man did not do this. He genuinely asked her what her nationality was. He took the time and the interest to find out. He did the exact opposite of what a racist person would do, yet he was still judged the same way. This person, this Asian lady, she is a clown. This was her just straight in her emotions. She felt like taking her revenge on all the people that ever, I guess got her nationality wrong and just threw it on this one poor man. That's what happened in this video.
You know what really grinds my gears?
When someone tries to say they understand someone just for the sake of the argument, if you understood him, you would not be offended, or at least you would just have blown this over. You don't understand him. You are being emotional and you just want out of this situation, which is fine. But where you lose me and everyone else, you say you understand, you say he didn't mean by it, and you will not tell his workplace, but you post it on your TikTok for the world to see. What more do you want from this man? He sounds sincere, he sounds apologetic, he mentions, and we can clearly see his English is broken. For you to miss all these signs means you did not care about his feelings or even his point of view, so miss me with that nonsense. Racist people do exist. Dealing with racism sucks, but knowing when it is intentional over a genuine, curious inquiry is crucial, so we give the right people the benefit of the doubt. Listen, I've lived around more Asian people than most Asian people can say themselves, and in a multicultural country, even with learning the differences between nationalities, sometimes I have issues telling the difference between one Asian over the next. My Asian friends also ask and confirm if an Asian person is, let's say, Chinese or Korean or Japanese, because they don't always get it right as well. Sometimes Asian people do look alike. Sometimes black people look alike. Sometimes white people look alike in terms of nationality. Why? Because nationality does not always dictate race. For example, a white African. The best way for me to determine the nationality of an Asian person is usually going off either the language or their last name. Let's give you some examples here. Chan, Chen, Lee, right? That's more so something you'll see in the Chinese community. Kawasaki, Toriyama, Kubo, Kishimoto, Isayama. That's something, and I know those are manga artists, I get it, but those will be something you'll hear in the Japanese, like Japanese last names. Park, Sun, Jang, So are more so commonly Korean last names. And then Nguyen, right? I believe that is Viet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be like a Viet last name. But you get where I'm going with this. And I could go on forever about this, but let's just take a look at what other people on the internet thought about this interaction. I made sure to include Asian individuals as well, just so we can get the best perspective on the situation with people who can relate with this lady, right? But I want to say now, this lady's post was straight for clout. She posted this to get her revenge for her experiences at this man's expense, and I stand on that regardless to what we see here. But let's take a look.
I've been asked to speak about this video so many times, and honestly, this is kind of a tough one for me. Let me explain why. Long story short, young Asian woman takes an Uber. The driver says offensive things to her, stereotyping all Asian people and saying how polite all Asian people are and that we all look the same and he can't tell us apart, but she looks kind of different, etc., etc. And rightfully so, she gets offended and says something to him. I would have done the same thing. And this is, where she and I diverge. I've said from the beginning, people don't know what they don't know. But it's what they do with new information that makes the difference. In this case, she brings it up to the driver and she says, I'm offended for the following reasons, and please don't do this with other people. And his reaction, I don't know what more you could possibly want. He's so incredibly apologetic. He immediately regrets what he says. He does go on to say that he doesn't have a firm grasp of the English language, and maybe what he said wasn't what he entirely meant, or whatever. Maybe it was, I don't know. But I'm very sympathetic to him because I have parents who speak broken English, and there have been many times where they're trying to convey an idea, but because their language is somewhat limited, because English is their second language, they sometimes can say things in a way that they might not have intended. That can happen. So what was the driver supposed to do? He said that he was sorry, and from what I heard, I think he really meant it. So for her to then, post the video, I don't know that that was necessary, but I understand why she posted the video, thinking see how often these things happen, like the frequency with which this shit happens to us. We constantly have to say things to people about how, you know, what they're saying and doing is offensive to us. Here's another example. And I don't think that she outright showed his name or his face or anything like that. So I don't think her intention was to, you know, get him fired from his job or anything, which he pleaded with her not to do because he needed the job, because he has a daughter. And so I obviously felt for him that way too, but I felt for her as well, because I know what it feels like to be just sitting there doing nothing and having somebody say some stupid offensive shit. So from her perspective, I get it. I understand why she filmed it and you know, felt the need to speak up for herself. And then from his perspective, he completely owned it and apologized for it. And I don't know what further he could have done. So it's kind of a, I don't know. I feel for everybody. I feel for both people involved. And I'm not saying that one person was right and one person was wrong. And I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying, like, it's a situation that I can see both sides of.
Now, I see this lady is more so on the fence in this situation, and she has probably dealt with a real case of a racist person generalizing her, but still took enough time for Nuance to say, hey, this case does not seem to be a racist interaction. This was a man with broken English that had a hard time conveying his appreciation for Asian people. I disagree with her fence sitting on her posting the video. There is zero defense for posting this video since she herself claims to understand he did not mean it. That was out of spite. There's no changing that. I stand on it. This next clip gives us context on who this girl is, and also she did give an apology, so let's take a look at what she said.
This is a food content creator who posted that video. She ended up deleting that video because it didn't give her quite the response that she was looking for. And after she deleted that video, she had posted this into her stories, so let's get into it. Now, she starts off by saying that there has been a very big misunderstanding from the video I posted about the cab driver, and I can only say that I'm sorry it came off in a bad light, as it was never intended. Now, herein lies the problem. The reason why she deleted the video, and because she's getting all of this backlash, is because after she had told the cab driver that it made her uncomfortable that he had referenced her or trying to figure out her nationality or her ethnicity, when he profusely apologized, she proceeded to post the video anyway. And people are starting to point out that if the intended purpose of you telling somebody they're uncomfortable and they apologize, or if they offend you and they apologize, then why post the video to begin with? She goes on to say that I never posted this for views or clout, and I thought that by posting it, it showed that I spoke up for something that offended me and here so often as an ignorant observation by many. She said I wasn't putting myself in the other shoe at the time, and I purely acted on emotion, which sometimes isn't always correct, and now I realize that. She said the cab driver's identity isn't shown at any point in the video, and I also mentioned in the video that I wasn't going to tell his work. She said I had a conversation with him to advise him to not stereotype us Asians in the future and asked if I can leave and get into another car. I didn't think it was unreasonable. She said, I do apologize for saying what he said was racist. I genuinely thought it was at the time. I've dealt with racial stereotypes all the way through growing up, and no one has ever told me different. But now I will take the time to educate myself on the matter and be more understanding in the future. She said, please allow me time and space to process and reflect. I understand the frustration and the anger towards this matter, and I can only apologize. She finishes and says, thank you for understanding. I'm sorry I let you down.
Okay, so we do see that she's a foodie TikToker. Shocking, Gen Zer, but she probably has a relatively big following. This lady has a perfect take on the situation. If you did not want clout or revenge or to get this dude in trouble, why post a video? Once again, if you got the apology and the man cleared the air when you were with him, why put him on blast? Nobody is trying to downplay your past experiences, but not being able to read the situation lets us all wonder if you even know how to distinguish when a person is being racist to you or not. So I got another clip from another Asian lady who gives her perspective on the video, so let's take a look at that and I'll give my commentary afterwards.
Okay, so here's my 2 cents about the whole situation. I've had plenty of experiences where people just come up to me and people from all different cultures asking me where I'm from, what languages I speak, where did I grow up, or when did I move to the United States. Like, is it the best thing that, you know, the best conversation to be had? Maybe not. Like, there's, I guess, more fun things to discuss. But I would never intentionally view these conversations, these questions, as intentionally offensive or racist, because you have to take these things with a grain of salt and understand where people are coming from. Usually, most of the times, people are so nice and they're just curious about you. And that's a good thing. Indifference is not good in a society. And the other thing is this whole claim about, oh, you guys all look the same to me, being racist. No, it's not racist. They don't say that because they view you as inferior of themselves, or, you know, being like intentionally passive aggressive or rude or racist. Most of the people say it because it's true, and it is actually true, scientifically speaking. So if you were to do a brain scan of a white person who grew up in primarily white areas, and of course you can say an Asian person grew up in primarily Asian areas, like your literal brain scans when you are looking at people from another culture that you didn't grow up with is different from when you're looking at your own people. Because why? Just thinking about it logically, your brain doesn't do extra work. It doesn't waste energy on things that are not necessary. And if you don't have that much exposure to other ethnicities, why would your brain put so much energy and time and work into trying to distinguish, trying to view the differences from face to face for another ethnicity that you never even see? So it is true. And for me, I grew up in Asia. All white people looked the same to me before I came to the United States. I mistook people when my first year in the United States. I mistook people who look drastically different as the same person because they all have blonde hair and blue eyes. And that to me is like the distinguishment out there, not their nose, not their eyebrows, because I was not used to distinguishing these features. So, like, you have to understand, people say things because that's how they grew up with. You can't just be so sensitive and snowflakes around everything and be offensive about everything. And that poor taxi cab driver, he was so nice.
An even better and broader point brought up here. You have an easier time labeling your own race since you are accustomed to this race. Other people have a harder time to do so, so they ask you, which he did, and he got vilified for it. Why? The silver lining for me is Asian people themselves can't always tell either. And I have seen numerous of times Asian people asking the nationality of other Asians unless they see a last name or hear the language or something like that. And I appreciate her pointing out the same would go for an Asian person assuming all white people are German or something. Do you look at all white people and say, oh yeah, he's Russian for sure right off the jump? No. The last clip here more or less rounds it all together, so let's just take a look and we'll just finish up from here.
I watched the full video and this is what I gathered. You could tell that the driver was clearly distraught and sincerely apologetic within his response about how you were offended by what he said. And I feel like that's the point of what I want to reiterate in this video. You were offended, but that does not give you the right to then antagonize and be patronizing to try and vilify your driver and expect people online to agree with what you did. Like, Asia is such a massive continent. And yeah, to an extent, it is hard sometimes to distinguish people from different features, which part of Asia they come from. So is the African continent, so is the European continent, etc. And it does not have to relate to racism. Because you could tell this man English was not his first language, and you can see and you can hear if you watch the full video how he was struggling to even communicate with you. Let's do that.
Perfect. Exactly. In conclusion, she overreacted. She used her past negative experiences to dictate this one and misread this man's intentions and took offense by it. For this, I won't blame her. For how she feels, I don't blame her. Her acknowledging this man's faults, claiming to understand with him, then blasting him on the internet, you are scum for this. You expected your Asian community and everyone else to stick up for you, but people tend to stick up for justice when it is so blatantly obvious there is a huge wrong being done. And this is the case. She apologizes, which is fine, but I personally do not accept it because she did it after the backlash. Had people defended her, she would have kept the video up and said nothing. So sure, go work on yourself, but you're still catching the out here. I'm sorry. I want everyone watching this to do an experience next time you see someone of your own race. Before you go up to them, without hearing their accent, their voice, or anything, or seeing their last name, assume their nationality and then ask them. And when you get it wrong, you'll realize it's not always black and white. It's a multicultural situation. Like that one? You like that one? I'm sorry. Okay guys, that'll be it for this long video. I hope this wasn't super long, but it probably was. But if you watched towards the end, you are a true Karen hunting member, and I appreciate you. So please, I need you to leave comments in the comment section. I want the comment section to be jumping. Let me hear your experiences, how you felt about this video, how you felt about this girl's reaction. Was she in the right? Was she in the wrong? All of it, leave it below. I'm going to be giving this girl the Karen title if it wasn't obvious already. So if you agree, just type a 1 at the end of your response, and if not, then type a 0 at the end of your response. And check out these other videos on the screen for more Karen action. GB's out this bitch. Peace.